Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Tonight we're going to look into how to actually migrate or to copy our local state files and make them work on inside a Google bucket so they are remotely accessible and thereby also accessible by your pipeline and by other colleagues than yourself. Of course, if you have a local state, you always need to you need to commit it into a Git repository and then push it afterwards, so your colleagues can also use the same state files. But it is quite ugly to have them locally. Place them centrally in one of the clouds. It can be any clouds. It can be in a bucket. And actually, Terraform has a backend solution also that can be used for this purpose. The free approach or the cheapest approach is to use a bucket. So that is what I'm going to do right here. So I have created this project right here inside in the last video. It's called Terraform Experiments. It's on my GitHub account, and it's linked in the description below. So what did we do last time? We actually created a new bucket named Mike Important Nodes. So for this purpose, we are going to create a new bucket. Since this bucket actually needs to be created before your Terraform can actually be run, then you could actually choose to actually create this bucket manually. This is actually many times the approach. You can create this manually, and then you can add it as backend afterwards. But I'm going to add it in the bucket resource file right here, just because it's very easy and it still documents what it is that we're doing. So I have my state files locally. I have it inside the dev folder. Here I have another folder named my state, and then we have some state and some state backup, and all of that is defined in my providers file, my providers.tf file. Here I have the backend section right here. It says local, and then it says my state and some state. And this is the normal way to start up a project, because you just want to get started and you want to see that everything works and that you can actually create the whatever you want to create. And that you want to maybe want to test the security part. And by the way, if you don't want to know how to log into Google, then you can do that with these npm tasks that I've placed in the package.json file. If you want to log in with gcloud, because you need gcloud and you need to have it installed in order to use Terraform, and in order to use Terraform with the Google resources, because you need to be you need to be logged in. And what this sentence to do right here, if you just write login without the application default, then this will not be the name of your JSON file where you're logged in. Whenever you're logging in with gcloud, then you're actually just creating a JSON file locally on your computer that says that you are who you are. A browser will usually will pop up, and you will have to say that yes, you are who you are, and you'll have to log in if you're not already logged in to your browser with Google. But use that command if you get some, if you're not logged in yet, and you're going to go to app data, to the app data folder, gcloud, and then you can actually see that JSON file if you're interested in that. But that's not what this video is about, so I'll try to focus and then go back to the provider section, because here we have local, we have path, and then some state right here. We have a bucket, and now I just create a new bucket, and this could be my state bucket, like this, right? My state bucket. And as you can see right here, we're using underscores in the name right here, and then we can use dashes in the real name if you want to in this part down here. It's good practice not to use the word bucket in all of these resources, because you can already see that it's a bucket right here. So if you want to follow the Google best practice, then you should not name this bucket. You can name this my state storage. Maybe no, just my state actually, just my state. As you can see in front that it says that's actually the bucket. Maybe you can call it my state location. Location, that should be okay, right? So location or backend. Yeah, I can call it backend. That's actually okay. My state backend. Then we are stating the purpose in the name instead. That's much better. So then there's a name. Then we will name this my state. And the name, it's okay that says bucket, but again, it's bad practice, so we will just say backend. And this time with a dash instead of underscore. Location EU, this means that it will actually be on multiple, it's actually multi-region, I think. When just say EU, usually we should say central 2 or something like that. EU central 2. force destroy, uniform bucket level access. This means that this is something to do with performance. You can also set the security on your bucket, actually, where you want to set security per folder, per location name inside the bucket, or if you just want to set it on a bucket level itself. That's called coarse or fine security. But now we have set this one up right here. Let us try to run apply. So I'll go to my package JSON file right here. I have this module with important buckets, which now also contains my state backend bucket. So I will now say apply. And if everything works as it should, then let us just see. We could also we could have run plan first actually, but now we got it. The one resource has been added, and if I go to my Google Cloud, now I can see that I have a my state backend right there. So that is my state backend. So now we have to use that for our state files instead. And the way we do that is we go to environments, and then whatever folder you have, I've just created an environment named dev. You can name these environments what you want to. It's just folders. Then you go to providers right here, and then you say instead of local right here, then just for fun, just try to see all the options that you can actually get right there. It is quite cool, and there's one that is named remote, and I believe that is the Terraform. That is the Terraform solution. I will make another video about that. But for now, we will choose GCS, which is Google Cloud Services. And then we will say it has a bucket. And the name of the bucket is this one. And then we want to say that it has a prefix. This is the folder name inside the bucket. And this could be Terraform. So that could be the prefix. I think that's actually enough, right? So we have Terraform. What else? State. Something like this, and then I think the default name will actually be default inside that folder. So we will have prefix Terraform state, and then we will have a name file name just named default. I believe that's how it works, but we will try to see how it actually works because now we have to migrate the state file right here. So we have to take the state file right here. We have to move it to Terraform state, and actually we can you know what we're going to do. We're not going to do that. First, we're going to the easy part here right here is to remove this state file right here, because the local state file actually expects the backend to be on this path right here. It expects it to be local also. There is a command named reconfigure, and there's also a command named where you can say init reconfigure. You can say init. What was the other one? There was init migrate state or init reconfigure. I could not make them work as I wanted to. So what I do is that I actually find my my local TF state file, and I delete it. I keep the real state file. So this is the state. Of course, I keep that, right? But I delete the log file and the local in the .terraform folder. Then I find that file and delete it, because then I can reinitialize. Then after I have changed the backend right here, then I can reinitialize my my Terraform by running init like this, and then I get a new local Terraform file right here. And here now it says that this is up there, right? And it's in the bucket, and it should be in this prefix right here. And now if I go look, can I see anything has been created? Yes, now I have a Terraform folder, I have a state folder, and I have a default state file. That is quite good. I'm going to delete that file, so away with that default TF state. So default TF state, away with you. And then I will dump my local state file. I'll dump that right there. And then I'll rename that. I'll rename that to rename default.tf state like this. So now it has been renamed. because now it actually has the right state. Because else, if I try to run to run the resources, then I will get an error because the state is not correct. If you compare to the cloud state, but now it should actually be okay. So that means now I can run. I go to my package file, then I can actually go and I can run apply. And then nothing should actually happen because the state should be correct. So that's fine. We are happy. Of course, the problem with having the problem with one Terraform script actually managing its own state location is that if I suddenly chose destroy right here, then I would get an error when it tried to write the state files because suddenly it would not have any place to write the state files because we just destroyed everything. And that is why I do not recommend you to do this, even though it is possible. I recommend you to actually create a I recommend you to create a module named enabler. So if you create a new module right here named enabler, and then you would actually have the bucket that actually contains your storage, your states. Those will actually be placed inside the enabler instead. But now we're just playing around, so it is okay for this purpose right here. But when if you want to use it for some real life examples, then I think you should do that instead. Create an enabler module because you would usually also need a service account to run your pipeline. If you're running a pipeline, you should be, of course. So you need a service account, you need a lot of roles, you need to enable some services, all of those things that you have to enable in order to get started with having a pipeline. You should place those in a new separate module named enabler. Inside there, you should also have your state bucket. You should also have the artifact registry so you can actually push so you can push a pipeline Docker image, of course, up to the artifact registry. So, but now I can delete the local my state folder right here, and we should still be okay. So I'll just run apply once again, just to prove that everything is okay and we are still happy. That's actually it. So that's how easy it is to migrate from local to a remote state, and it's much better, of course, to have it centralized, and definitely I recommend that. Thank you very much for watching and have a great evening. Hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.